Hi, I'm Stefano, the Moon Guy, and in this video, I'm gonna be talking about the archetype of planet Venus. In your birth chart, Venus is gonna fall in one of the 12 zodiac signs, and this is gonna tell us a lot about the qualities that we value, what we find attractive, what we hold dear, be it in a person or in a work of art, in a landscape, philosophically. It's related to what turns you on and to your attitude in love and in other social interactions. And the house in which we find Venus is going to be an area where we mainly seek for fulfillment, pleasure, beauty. It also indicates natural skills and talents. And the planets that are in contact with Venus, they're gonna again influence what we value, but they're also gonna indicate the types of experiences that we meet and attract in our close relationships. Venus is the significator of our value system. By defining our values, our affinities, our desires, we give greater form to our unique individuality. And a lot of people struggle with making those definitions. We might feel unsure about our own values. We might feel uncomfortable with standing up and acknowledging what we truly desire because freedom of choice comes with its responsibilities and its anxieties, but it is, of course, extremely important to make those decisions because if we're not true to ourselves, we cannot develop a healthy self esteem. It is through defining who we are, what we like, what we want, that we can actually experience those expectations and those longings and act in ways that support our beliefs. Otherwise, we are not really accepting who we are. If we don't respect and love us, it's going to be very hard to believe that others can, that we can also be loved. When we're talking about the Venusian archetype, we're also talking about what we call intrapersonal love, which is the self love, accepting and forming relationship with what is inside you, even the dirty, the scary, the primitive parts of our personality. And this is the basis for healthy and happy relationships with others. What we experience during childhood influences a lot how and if we grow up loving ourselves or developing self love. And very often, unfortunately, we are loved only for the parts of our nature that are welcomed by our parents or caretakers. So, since a very early age, we end up learning to suppress those parts of our personality that we feel or think that they are not accepted or acceptable. And then we end up forming a persona that doesn't fully reflect our personality and our desires, like a safe face that we present to the world. Wherever you have Venus in your chart, there is a great potential for creative talent. So, for instance, if you have Venus in Gemini or in the third house, you will somehow have gifts with words, with communication. Venus in Sagittarius or in the ninth house gives us the ability to inspire others with our worldviews, with our beliefs. Venus in Pisces or the 12th house may give us certain healing gifts, the ability to comfort people in distress, And as I mentioned before, Venus is also related to what we value. Venus in Scorpio will be attracted to mysterious, deep, complex things, while Venus in Sagittarius would probably go for someone outgoing, lively, someone that inspires them with their vision and their beliefs. On the other hand, if we are scared of desiring because of the risk of vulnerability that comes with acknowledging what we truly want and desire, then we might actually feel repelled by the same factors that our Venus indicate that we are attracted to. So, for instance, if we're too scared of being rejected, or if in some ways we relate pleasure with guilt, we're gonna unconsciously create this repellent effect to defend ourselves from what we find beautiful, from what we really want. In the book The Inner Planets, the astrologer Liz Green makes a connection between the myth of Aphrodite, so here we're still talking about the archetype of Venus, and the figure of the harlot, which was a sacred figure in ancient Babylon, Egypt, and India. Those women, the temple harlots, they were far from being merely prostitutes in the sense that we use the term nowadays. They were trained to be mortal vessels for the joy and the ecstasy from the goddess of love, and they would initiate others into her domain by becoming an embodiment of object of desire and source of pleasure. The temple harlots, they served as a kind of generator of the creative force in people. A harlot didn't have was not bound to a husband or any children. It is her pleasure that constellates the joy in her partners. And according to Liz Green, we've lost contact with this type of feminine archetype, and erotic love is no longer very much related with concepts such as the sacred or creativity. So, Venus symbolizes this kind of self love which joyfully gives to the others without depending on others for a sense of worth or self worth. For Venus, relationships, they serve as a vehicle for the gradual formation of our personal individual values. Our choices in love are really unconscious statements about what we value the most. While the lunar archetype, or the moon in our birth charts, seeks relationships for emotional security, Venus wants to relate with others as a kind of mirror. And in Lee's words, so one may discover in the eyes of the lover the reflection of oneself. Aphrodite's eroticism then transforms the raw libido of physical sexuality into something else, something that we might see in certain medias such as dance and poetry. Both desire and creativity, they are closely connected with the Venusian archetype. Aphrodite's sexuality is then a profound expression of individuality. It is a creative act. I think that's it for now. Thank you very much for being here with me. If you would like to book a session, if you're interested in astrology, visit my website, thecharry.com, and subscribe to my channel, The Moon Guy. Ciao, ciao!